Welcome to Meaningful Mondays with the Community Foundation of Middlesex County, where we only know good people who do great things in our community. Whether you are a volunteer, a donor, or a nonprofit organization, each episode of Meaningful Mondays will celebrate you, our friends and neighbors who have a deep passion for and commitment to improving the quality of life for all in Middlesex County. So let's kick off the week with great conversations with remarkable people, businesses, and nonprofits making a difference right in our own backyard. Well, happy Monday, everyone. This is our Meaningful Monday podcast, and at the Community Foundation of Middlesex County, we only know good people who do great things. Let me repeat that. Great people who do great things. And great families who do great things. And I'm so honored to have David Director, CEO of Connecticut Lighting Centers, and Brett Director, Executive Vice President of Connecticut Lighting Centers with me today. I'm just going to brag a little bit about the Director family and my relationship. I am so fortunate to have known now 4 generations of the Director family. And I have to say, you're the foundation of the foundation. You really are. I'll ask you to brag about Connecticut Lighting Centers, but I want to brag about you and your family first, just from my perspective. Fortunate to know Art and Edith, your parents, David, who are with us from the very beginning. Fortunate to have you involved with us at a growing time with the Community Foundation.
Yeah, we were a little different.
We were a little different. And then now still involved with us. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a CFMC tattoo somewhere there, and we really appreciate that. And now, Brett, to have you on our board the second year there and involved with our technology committee and other things on our board, that to us you're the gift that keeps on giving. So how's that?
Probably more than it should be.
No. But, we have people who listen to us and watch us from all over. And some folks may not know about the Connecticut Lighting Centers. That's a surprise to me. But if both of you could give your 2 cents about the third generation family business, I think that would be really helpful to put everything into perspective for folks.
Sure. I'll start. Connecticut Lighting Centers, we've been around since 1972. Both my mom and dad were involved in the business. And we truly, I think, have a true family business. As you know, I'm blessed to have my 3 children, Brett, Todd, and Jenna, all involved in the business, as well as my son-in-law, Johnny, involved in the business. And I think, we used to say, since 1972, we built a business on honest integrity and a focused drive to satisfy every customer's needs. It's true. We really have tried to build a business on honesty, on integrity, on relationships, on being part of the community, on doing what we always think and hopefully is the right thing. And that was always started with my parents. They stressed it on me. I've stressed that on the next generation.
Yes, he has.
Nodding your head. I love the phrase, and it's my favorite phrase, do the right thing, because everything else will follow. So Brett, what about you? I mean, this is just great to have you as the third generation and your siblings and Johnny.
Correct. Yeah. And again, we're all in the business. My dad's been awesome too. Kind of, I don't want to say the transition because he's certainly not going anywhere. But he's been.
He's nodding. I think he's out the door.
Yeah, we'll see. But no, he's just been a good shoulder to lean on. So if there's anything that we have as we're trying to grow and do, kind of new things and grow the business, he's been really supportive through that. When it comes to the showroom itself, we're trying to become kind of that one-stop shop. So yes, we're called Connecticut Lighting Centers, but now we've extended into the hardware business. So decorative and functional hardware, window shading, and then tons of home decor, mirrors, consoles kind of in pieces. So there's a lot more that we do today than we've done kind of ever before. So
it's almost overwhelming when you go into the new showroom. And I will speak, and David knows this, my favorite lamp of all time. You all took care of it, and you were the only ones, I think, on the East Coast that could have done what I needed done to it. So thank you for that. It is
That
truly
was on the restoration side. Yep.
Yep. And I know there's a little touch of your mom, Edith, in everything in the home decor. So
She started it.
Yep, she did. And it's really expanded tremendously. So we have been so fortunate lately that the CEOs and the EVPs of businesses locally have been willing to share their thoughts about the payback of giving back. It really has been so much fun to hear the phrases from David Glidden of Liberty Bank, and I know you know him so well, David, Jeff Marsh from Wheelan Engineering, and Vin Capice from the hospital, and now you. So take us through your family philosophy about giving back, and then we'll expand on that, because I have a lot of bragging to do too about what you both have done for the community.
I think it's pretty simple. There's not a lot to it. Is that, building your business and building a business, as my dad did, who didn't come from the lighting business. It was all about the network, and it's all about meeting people and relationships. And again, I'll go back to that word, because I always think it's really important, is doing the right thing, is being involved in your community. And for people to look, we can all say, my parents were very big believers in, you can give money, you can give time, you can give both. And it was always important to them to be involved, not just write a check, not just, do it because they were doing it, but to truly try to make a difference. And I think that is such a huge part of building your business, because you do build a business on that. It's about a network. And I always say to my kids, let's not overlook the fact how important it is to build those relationships, because those relationships who are support your business.
That's so true. Brent, do you have anything to add? Because I know I'm going to brag a little bit about you and just say I'm impressed that you have been so involved with the Big Brothers Big Sisters, and I know you're an animal lover. So what else do you have to add to what David said?
I would just say the only other thing, really, I mean, he touched on a lot right there. Is just, at the end of the day, I think you just have to keep in sight. Like, for example, there's some things that we do through Connecticut Lighting that sometimes my brother and I will look at each other like, well, do we need to do this? Why are we doing certain things? And then it always comes back to what he was explaining, that it's much more bigger than what's physically in the moment. And those doing those little things that we do, through, for example, like the Home Builders Association, the HBRA, is that those little things that you do day in and day out, come back tenfold.
And I couldn't agree more. It's this ripple effect. And I'll share with you that we're on a mission of new math lately with these CEO and important people networks or podcasts. David Glidden calls it 1 + 1 = 3. New math from a banker. Okay. Jeff Marsh said the ripple effect. It just goes on and on and on. And you sometimes don't know where those relationships and giving back will lead to customers or people really caring about you when you need them. And then Vin was just like, it's just like you, David, it's the right thing to do. We're here for the community. So keep on going with the new math. But I want to be really specific about what you both have done through the Council of Business Partners and the Interfaith Golf Open Tournament. Who knew that golf was more than a game? It really is to both of you. And I know you're always,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
and I'm always dead last in that tournament, but I don't really care. But let me tell you my view. You both care about the community, but you told me once, David, when we started the Council of Business Partners and its initiatives, that and the Interfaith Golf Open Tournament, that you really cared about your future employees, that you really cared about the young people in our community that perhaps if you they got to know you would become your future employees. So let's talk about some of the things you started. And Brett, I know you jumped in and you're jumping in now. So the Bully Free Communities campaign, David, if you could spend just a little time on that. And then let's talk about the most important thing that's going on right now, the Buddy Bench Reboot Initiative.
So let's just start about the Council of Business Partners.
Right.
I mean, when we sat down and we talked about that at the initial concept of what that was about, what frustrates a lot of smaller businesses is that they do a lot for local communities.
Gosh,
and
do you ever?
and you look at these baseball field, little league fields. I mean, I could go on and on.
Yep.
But they don't get a lot of recognition for that. And that was one of the reasons that we started the Council of Business Partners, that we sat down and we said, you know what? Collectively, look what we're doing for these communities, and what can we do as a group to make a difference and to try to do some things together. And the bully free aspect was something that we started that in our golf tournament 25 years ago.
Right.
No one was talking about any of that.
Right.
But we saw that in the community as an issue. Again, the whole networking thing, being very involved with Rushford. I was on their board forever and still chair their foundation and foundation board, and it's those are the things that you learn when you're out there. It's like we always look to you, Cynthia, because you're the wizard of knowledge relative.
I'm the nosy one in the neighborhood.
Right. But it's really important for people to use you as that sounding board, because you do see, what's going on out there. So the bully free zone, and to turn that into what today, using the benches, that all ties together. And it's so important for us as a community, because I think you hit on it before, is that at the end of the day, those are our future employees. Those kids are our future, not just our employees, but they're going to be who the ones are molding and making those decisions for us
Right.
in our community.
I will just give some specifics about what you did through the Bully Free Communities campaign. We had programs that went into the schools to help so that the teachers didn't have to do anything, and it was there for them with the help of Rushford and their folks who are the experts. To your point about getting the network, I'm nosy. I know the people that are the experts and I'll pull them in. But then what sadly we had to stop because of COVID was the rallies that we did for the middle school kids, where they came together and they seemingly were playing games, but it was leadership. It was getting to know different people, and to have folks like Donnie Marshall and the folks from Interfaith Golf Tournament and yourself and the Council of Business Partners there, and the young people seeing that adults really do care, I think made a huge difference. And then, Brett, I'm going to segue to you. Can you talk a little bit about the Buddy Bench campaign and the rebooting of the initiative? Are you familiar with what we're doing? And I'll lead off with, we just fastened the second one in Portland. And it's just, the view is magnificent. Can't wait to have an event to get the whole town and more people there. It's just wonderful.
Yes, it certainly is. I know my father can speak, not to throw him under the bus, but he could certainly speak a lot more in depth about it. But again, it's just, bringing people together, the inclusiveness is huge. And I think in today's environment, and kind of society is, over the years, I think we've kind of been segregated over the
Right.
years. So I think just the inclusiveness as a whole of the buddy bench and the whole idea of it is really just to bring people back together, kind of go back to our roots, getting back to the true values that kind of what made everybody kind of together in a great environment. So I think that's really what I see as the biggest part.
You know what, Brett? I really threw you a curveball there, and I didn't mean to because I know part of
That's
it.
all right. Keep me on my toes.
No. But I
That's
just
good though.
love that you got to the essence of what the buddy bench is all about. Being kind, understanding that there's the relationships, understanding that we all need to come together. So my faux pas, I apologize, but wow, you nailed it. So thank you.
There we go.
Thank you very much. So I'm just wondering, are there, for you, Brett, and I'm going to ask the question because you are the third generation. I have the gray hair, so I need to ask the question. I'm going to ask you two questions. So you've been on our board this is your second year. Any surprises about our board? I'm sure your dad filled us in, filled you in a little bit.
True. I wouldn't say there's a true surprise. I would say, of course, there's a big involvement into it, but I don't think, I never realized how much people as a whole, whether you're on a committee or just the board and as as a whole, of
Right.
just how committed and how much time is spent to give back in the community through everything, we do and I do now. Just the extent and just the care, the heart that goes into it. Of
Yeah.
course, you knew there always is, but just the extent of it is it was kind of mind blowing.
Yeah, and I thank you for saying the heart that goes into it because it's not just, yes, you give your time and expertise, and that's the networking part for us, and we can only be better by using your time and expertise. I'm not I'm not a math. Well, yeah, I am a pretty good math person, but we have some bankers on there that make us even better. But I think it's putting the heart there too. So thank you for saying that. And one other question for you, Brett. Again, I'll go back to my gray hair. Now, your generation, what are you seeing from your peers, your friends? Where do their interests lie? Because I'm being nosy because we want to make sure that we're paying attention to what your generation and future generations care about too.
So I'd say it kind of ties back to kind of one thing that I was mentioning before is the inclusiveness.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that's been a big push in my generation, even the generation kind of right below me, kind of the mid young 20s.
Okay.
Even that I've seen. And then also the environment. Kind of, just not going green, but just doing good for the environment, keeping that
Okay.
kind of top of sight, just top of mind. So between those two, I'd say those are the two big ones.
Okay.
I'd
So
add one other. I'd add one other to there is that, their relationship with animals and
yeah.
it's very interesting because I find that, you know, I see this younger generation, how strong the relationship is with their dogs, their cats, their
Right.
animals, and what it means to them. So what does it mean? I mean, they need a place to go, they need a place to run, it's got to be clean. Really
Yeah. Oh,
important
that's
to them.
great. And I know you rescued your dog, right?
I did. Yeah, about 7.5 years ago. Yeah.
And forgive me, I don't remember the dog's name, your dog's name.
Tiger.
Tiger. I think it's
Tiger.
appropriate if I remember the photo that I've seen
The
of
brindle, yeah.
yeah,
Big
right.
baby at
I
115
think,
pounds.
well, okay, that outweighs me.
Yeah.
So,
He's a mini human.
uh, I'm a mini
Or
human.
full. Yeah.
So, thank you for those because now, Brett, you can expect a call and about those three topics, the animal connection
Absolutely.
to humans and the environment. And then I love the fact that you're saying inclusiveness. So thank you. So my one last question, well, no, I'll probably have one other after this, but what advice do you have for other business owners, people who are in your network about the payback of giving back?
Well, I'd say first, like I think you have to just kind of really just jump into it.
Okay.
Obviously I've been blessed to have my father and my grandfather, who, of course, I was a little bit younger when he was, kind of around. Um, but just seeing it, at least from my dad and his peers, um, just being around it is just a good foundation that I was blessed to have. So it's always been around. Of course, you never knew, like even joining the board, you never really know the true extent unless you fully jump in. Um,
Right.
so I'd say the biggest thing is once you jump into it, um, just the reaction from your peers, even like, for example, like the Interfaith Golf Tournament, the amount of lighting manufacturers that get involved, and not because we ask, but they generally want to get involved because they see what we're doing in the community, and they generally want to give back, and that alone goes a huge way.
And I'm getting to know your manufacturers and your reps, and I think some of them ask not to be on our team when we play, but they always give me a smile, a pat on the back. But no, and it's so nice to see the same people over and over in the generous way they get involved with the Interfaith Golf Open Tournament. So thank you. And David, anything else you'd like to add to that?
Well, yeah, I think there's a few things, if you can indulge me.
Of course.
Um, so first of all, we kind of skipped over what it means about the community foundation, and what I see is so important as part of that giving back. You know, um, it's amazing how much the board and your staff and you care about the funding partners. And it's not just about how they can help, but it's about their mission and how you
Right.
guys really try to get into what their mission is and help them to get to that objective. I think it's about um, the dedication of a staff it's amazing. I mean, you guys are an incredible staff
Oh,
and you
thank you.
give 150% every day, but it's with heart. And that's pretty, that for someone who is part of that, be it board member, volunteer, that means a ton because, you watch that and it just you get excited by that. As a board member of Liberty, that's what gets me excited about Liberty because guys like Dave Glidden and the team at Liberty, they really try to do the right thing. And
Right.
and they give back incredibly to the community. And being a mutual bank, they can do that. But it rubs off. It rubs off, and it rubs off on the employees. And like in your case, I mean, everybody's just so great. Um, so
Oh,
now
really,
I'll answer the
everybody watching
question.
this. No, and I didn't mean to cut you off. If you had somebody else you'd like to give a shout out to, but I think you're right. The Liberty Banks of the world, the Middlesex Health, which gives back to the community, the
Yep,
Wheeling Engineerings, the GSBs of the world. I mean, I could go on. The Malov's Jewelers, S16 Train.
100%.
And they get that we're in this together. And so we are lucky. I thank you for your gracious comments about our staff. We are so lucky. I am so lucky to have them on the team. I mean, really, I do nothing compared to what they do, but
I don't know
it's,
about that, but yes,
well,
they are amazing
thank,
staff.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
But
But
but so is the board.
oh
You
yeah,
know, you have
oh,
a
the
great
board
board.
is,
You have a great you you,
oh my
you have a
gosh,
lot of people who have just done a lot of work. And
they're
like
a,
Brett was saying, I think that's what that generation doesn't always realize is how much work that really goes into all the things that to make things better in your community.
right. And so I think I'll sort of put two ideas, that one you gave and one you gave, Brett. So I think there are a lot of smart people around our board table with a lot of heart. And so I'll combine, what you said. And again, thank you. But I just want to do a shout out to the director family. You have 6 funds with us. You're giving back in so many different ways to the nonprofits through your designated funds, and then also again to the young people through your scholarship at Cromwell High School. So that to me is like this exclamation point after the director family name. All right.
Well, thank you.
Well, no, thank you. Thank you. And the community thanks you. And so I guess I just have, we've sort of covered a lot of landscape. So what are you looking forward to in the next couple of months? Brett, taking Tiger out in the spring?
Always some hikes, of course.
Okay.
Get that out. And then the family thing, of course, is golf.
Oh yeah.
That always has to get involved. Outside of the work and all the fun here, fun outside of the work, and just kind of blow off some steam, play some golf, and try not to get too frustrated out there.
Well, someday I'll be as good as the director family. David, what about you? What are you looking forward to?
It's funny because as the years go on, things kind of change. Now with 3 grandkids,
I know.
I love the summer because they come over and they're in the pool and we have a blast. And it's playing golf with my boys. I mean, there's nothing better. There's nothing better. I'm very, as I say, Carol and I, and it's really Carol. We're blessed. And we know we're blessed, and it's one of those things that as the years go on, you realize more and more how blessed you are.
Well, I will say from the total community's perspective, we are blessed to have you in our midst. You are truly the gift that keeps on giving. So thank you for joining us for Meaningful Mondays, and thank you for all you do for the community.
Thank you. Thank you for all you do.
Thanks. Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of Meaningful Mondays. At the Community Foundation of Middlesex County, we know that philanthropy matters and philanthropy works. Together, we support the arts, education, human services, animal welfare, the environment, heritage enhancements, and so much more by providing services, programs, and grants to our local nonprofits. We invite you to learn more and share your passion with us. Visit us at middlesexcountykcf.org or contact us at 860-347-0025. Together, we can make great things happen.